Okay, so page 4 is a little bit tricky. I know you can do it though, but I want you to take a big deep breath before we get into it because the last pages were quite simple. This one's a little bit more complex, but I know you got this, okay? So, your pieces are your A pieces, 2 pieces at 7.5 by 10 3/8 inches. 2 B pieces that measure 4 3/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. 1 C piece that is 7 1/4 inches across, 9 1/2 inches long. Your D piece is going to be a hinge, or it's not going to be a hinge, but it's going to function as something like that. 1 inch across by 7 3/4 inches. Your E piece will be 7 3/8 by 10 1/4. You will need 2 F pieces that measure 1 inch by 3 1/2 inches. Your G piece is 4 1/4 across by 5 1/4. And your H is 4 1/2 across, 3 7/8 down. Okay, so all the measurements are in the PDF part if you missed any of those, so get all of those cut and grab your scoreboard. So we're going to start with the A pieces. So your A piece will be scored at half and at 5/8 on the 10 3/8 inch side. And then we're going to flip it over. So your score lines are still in the same place, they're just now showing the mountain side. And we're going to score again at 5 1/2. So we're still on the 10 3/8 inch side. Okay, so it'll look like that. So the raised edge, there's the one you just did. So we'll do that to both of the A pieces. So half and 5/8, flip it over, and 5 1/2. Okay. Both of your B pieces will be scored at half on the 4 3/4 inch side. There's 1. And 2. Okay, we're going to set aside both C and D. We're going to work on those in a minute. But for now, score E at 5 1/8 on the 10 1/4 inch side. So 5 1/8. Okay, that's it. Your F pieces will be scored at, so on the 3 1/2 inch side, they'll be scored at half, 1 1/4, and 2 3/4. Okay, so they're going to look like that. Okay, so do that to both of them. Half, 1 1/4, 2 3/4. Okay, your G piece does not need any scoring. The H will be scored at half on the 3 7/8 side. I'm going to trim just a smidge off mine. Mine's all like closer to 4, or it is 4. I'm just going to trim a smidge. There, that's better. Okay, so half on the 3 7/8 inch side. Alright, so that is all the scoring we need to do at the moment. Put your scoring board away. We'll keep your bone folder out though. Alright, so now we're going to work with the C piece. So set these aside. I know we're kind of going out of our normal order of doing things. So A, B, this is the C. Okay, so here's your C piece. What we're going to do first is draw a 1-inch border all the way around. So we're going to make some marks. I'm going to use something that you'll be able to see. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to make some marks all the way around. It's okay if these marks aren't perfect. You're not going to see these lines in the final product. Okay, so now connect all those lines. Okay, so you should have something that looks like that. And now we are going to cut along the bottom and the 2 sides, but we're going to leave the top line alone. So you can use your paper trimmer, or you can use a ruler and a crafting knife. Either way will work just fine. So put your ruler right up against that line. Okay, there's one side. Okay, and the bottom. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this now. The top is left alone, but you've got the 3 other sides cut. Get that out of the way. Now we're going to bring our scoreboard back in. We are going to score at 3 5/8 just inside the frame that we've created, or just in, yeah, just in, I guess it's a frame, so just inside there. Okay, so just inside this part, and then flip it over, and we're going to score at 1 inch. So basically you're just going to follow the top line that is not cut. Okay, because these are going to be folding in opposite directions. So it's going to look like that. Okay. Now we can set that aside for a second and move your scoreboard. We're going to apply score tape to the 1/2 inch sections of the other pieces. So anything that has a 1/2 inch section. So this is H. Okay. G does not require any score tape. Actually, I'm going to miter these as I go. So miter H. Okay, G does not require any score tape. Your F pieces, just put score tape on the ends, not in the center. So you've got that 1/2 inch section on one end, and then on the other end you've got a 3/4 inch section. Okay, so your F pieces will look like that. And D does not require any score tape. E does not require any score tape. These are your B's, and they do. Miter them. Okay, your A's also need some score tape at the top on the valley side, remember? So you've got valley and mountains on the A's, so make sure it's on the valley side. Okay, so these are the A's. Now the C piece requires a little bit of extra loving. So for the C piece on the back, so where you made those marks, okay, we're going to add score tape to all 3 of the sides that are cut. And then at the top, we're going to add a little bit of score tape to each side, but we want to make sure that there is a gap about 1.5 inches in the center of the top. Okay, so make sure to leave a gap because there's something that's going to be sliding up and down, so we don't want any adhesive there. Okay, so there's your C and your B's and A. So now we're back to organized somewhat. Oops. So now crease and fold, fold and crease all of your score lines, and then we can start to put it together. Remember to fold all your valleys into mountains. So away from the indent, fold away from the indent. Okay, I might do this off camera because you've got this part. You can fold and crease. Okay, so I'll be right back when I have all of mine folded and creased. Okay, so now that we have got all of our pieces creased, bring in your last page that you were just working on, so flip it over, and we'll begin with our A pieces. Okay, so the A pieces are going to go on the right and left of your base page, and they will meet in the center. Okay, and it's a tight squeeze, so make sure that they are even and lined up all good. Okay, so one on the left. And the other one on the right. And when you close them, they should, oh, mine's a tiny bit. Each one needs to move over a smidge. Okay, there we go. So they meet just in the center there, and they open up like this, and like that. Okay, so that's your A's. And then the B's are going to act as closures for the A's. So they are going to go on the inside of each A piece. So it's going to go like that. It's kind of covering, like going over top of each A piece to close it. Alright, so open up one of the A's. So it's going to go right on, one's going to go on the left edge of the A piece, and the other one's going to go over here on the right edge. Okay? Again, feel free to measure exactly, because you're going to center it up and down. I'm going to eyeball it. Alright, so that one will close up like that. And then the other one will go on the other side. And it might help to kind of put this, so open up the right A, fold the left A over top, so that way you can see the opposite B piece, and that way you can line it up with its counterpart. Make sure they're both even. Alright, so there are your B pieces. Awesome. And now we'll be using the C piece. So first, so open up your A's, and you're going to want to add pattern paper to the base page before you add your C piece. Now the frame is going to adhere onto the base page. So the piece of pattern paper that you put down on the base just needs to be big enough so that it's hidden by this frame. So my piece isn't quite as big as the entire base page, but it's big enough that it will be covered by the frame. Okay, so see what I mean? It works top to bottom, but it was too small on the sides, but that's okay. So I just left a little extra of the white paper that I cut it from, and I'm going to put that down there, and then the frame will adhere on top of it so that you'll just see that part. Okay? So let's adhere that down. Okay, so once you have your pattern paper on the base page, we are going to put the frame down right on top of it, like that. Okay, so remove the backing from the score tape. Okay, so there is that. And now your D piece. So this is why we left a little space free of adhesive in behind here. So put that D piece into that space there, slide it all the way through, and then pull it until there's about an inch or so, or just enough so that at the top there's still something to grab onto, and then fold it up like that. Okay, and then we're going to adhere just this little bit to here. Okay, so just a little piece of score tape. Okay, and adhere that like that, and it is going to act as a pulley. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to put score tape on just the bottom half of your C-piece. So make sure it does not go into that center score line there. Okay, and remove the score tape. I'm going to adhere piece E onto just that bottom half, and make sure you adhere it so that it folds down like that. Okay? Okay, so adhere that onto it. Okay, so there is your E. Your E folds down, and then this part pulls up like that. And now we're going to open up that E and take your two little F pieces and adhere the 3/4 inch section that has the score tape. Oh God, I think it's both my hair and cat hair into these ones. Okay, so take the 3/4 inch part, and first we need to add pattern paper onto our E piece. So I've got these two pieces that I've set out for the E's, so put your pattern paper on. Okay, now take your F pieces and put the 3/4 inch section about an inch in from both the left and the right, and right up to the score line, but not over top of it. Just make sure that they're in far enough that this G piece will cover them. Okay, so you've got the two right there. That one's slightly, there we go. Now we're going to fold them up like this and adhere the 1/2 inch section up here. So push them up and then fold in that 1/2 inch section, and that's where it's going to adhere. So lay it flat and adhere that other part. Okay, so when this is pulled up, those will sit like that. Okay. Alright, so now put some adhesive just on the two parts right here. It might be a little bit too long. Okay, and now adhere G so that it just hits the bottom of those two pieces, and try and center it left to right. That looks pretty good, like that. So now when this is pulled up, that kind of pops out a little bit. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. Okay. Alright, now we are going to adhere your H piece. Oh, I just realized this is one of those. So this is going to close up like that. Probably going to want to re-crease all those. And this is going to act as a closure over top like that. So you can either, if you can, peel this up a little tiny bit if you can to put this on. We should have done that first, I guess. Otherwise, you can put score tape on the opposite side and adhere it to the back. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that. I forgot that that should have been on the opposite. Normally the score tape goes on the valley side, but I guess in this case it's going to go on the mountain side, unless you can bring your pattern paper up a little bit, enough to stick this underneath. Sorry folks if I've messed you up there. I'm just going to take the tape off the other side. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to try and center this. Alright, and there you go. So that will act as a closure. Now we're going to add magnets. So first we'll put a magnet going from the H to the front of the E. So 2 magnets, making a little sandwich with the score tape, and close it. There we go. And then we will do the A pieces going over top of the H. So make sure that you put the magnets high enough up on the A pieces, because if you put them, well, you can put them in the center, just make sure that they're going to hit the H somewhere. Somewhere around there. And around there. A little bit more score tape. Fold that one closed. And make sure they hit each other where they should. Okay, there we go. And then from the B pieces to the A's. Oh, what a surprise. Hello. Okay, a little bit more score tape. Okay, so there you have it. That is your page 4. Wasn't so bad, was it? I'm sure you guys did amazing. So now I'm going to get some of my pattern paper on, and I will come back and do some of it with you. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Just some basic, like kind of grunge brown paper on the front. I've added 2 little pull door pulls, I guess they're called. So on the, I didn't cover the back of this one yet, so you can see all the little tines from the, there's like 5 tiny little brads, 6 tiny little brads. So those are all the tines there. So I'm going to cover the tines with some score tape just to make sure that they stay where they're supposed to stay. Before I add the pattern paper. You don't have to have these metal embellishments. They're just decoration. They don't serve a, you know, I mean, they help pull the piece up, but you don't have to have them. I know I'm going to get tons of questions about where I got them, and I don't remember. I mean, I know it was from eBay, but I don't know the seller's name. I buy so many things and have bought so many things over the years. And if I like something, I tend to buy it in bulk, so then I have them for a long time. And years down the road, I'm really bad about remembering where exactly I got them. If you go to eBay or to Etsy, there's a lot of really good Etsy sellers too. eBay or Etsy, and just type in different things. Try, you know, vintage door pulls or latches or trunk closures, or just like try different combinations of words until you find things that you like, and then buy a bunch of them. or actually keep track of where you bought them, and then you won't forget for the next time, like I do. But I mean, I buy a lot of metal embellishments. I really like metal embellishments, so I buy quite a few of them, and they're all ever so slightly different, and oftentimes I can't find the same embellishment that I bought in the first place and end up getting something different. I love this steampunk girl. I think she's so awesome. It's one of my favorite pieces. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. This side is the same with the journaling pages on the inside, and then you open it up. This is what I have so far. I just cut a frame out of this, so I cut it to the just a smidge smaller than the actual frame piece that we cut, and then cut in, instead of cutting in an inch, I cut in 7/8 or just shy of 7/8, so it was a little bit smaller. And then have that here. This I have not put on yet. Oh. A little crazy with the adhesive there. Okay, there's that. And now when this pulls down, put this on here. So as always, pause if you need to, if you want to like do it exactly as I do. So now, feel free, you can decorate the back of this if you want. You can't put one piece though, because you have to make sure that this can still bend right here, so you can put two pieces if you want. I'm not going to. You can also decorate this part if you want to, but I might put a little ribbon pull on this part or something like that, but I'm not going to really decorate it. So that is it for page 4. So now I'm going to get my pieces ready for page 5.